in that window. So once I double click on start from scratch and I see the blue exclamation point turn into the orange arrow, then I know the system has acknowledged the fact that I want to start from scratch. But the one strange thing here is that it won't let me click OK just yet. And the reason it won't let me click OK just yet is because the system is trying to get me to rename my window. So all I have to do that is click on the window name tab over here on the far right. Not a lot of rocket science going on here. It's just the system is trying to prompt you to name your window something other than My Alerts, because it's real easy to get confused once you get 4 or 5 windows up and they all say My Alerts on them. Alright, so by renaming the windows, we stay more orderly and we don't get near as confused. So I'm just going to name this window Test. I'm going to hit the Enter button, and let me add my description column here. And one more column to add. Icon. Okay, so now we have a blank window. But if we blanked it out and we haven't requested any filters and we have not requested any alerts, A, why do we see all these symbols coming through? And B, what does this mean? What is the heartbeat? Okay, so when I right click and go back into configure, normally where all of the alerts and filters that we've installed show up, and since we haven't installed any, one would think that there should not be anything in this field, but we've got our funny little friend here, the heartbeat, showing up. Okay, I'm going to hit right click to navigate to where the heartbeat lives. And now you can see we're in the alert list, and we're at the very bottom of the alert list. And the heartbeat is checked. Now watch what happens if I try to uncheck the heartbeat and come back in. The heartbeat is still there. And the reason the heartbeat is still there is that the way the system operates is like so. If we, the user, do not select any alert to use from the alert list, if we just say, you know what, we don't want to use an alert, we're not going to select one, the system's going to automatically check the heartbeat for you. Okay, and a good way to look at the heartbeat is look at it more or less as a non-alert, a non-event. He may live at the bottom of the list with all the other alerts, but he's different. He's not like all the other ones. Okay, and so having said that, let's come back out here and try to figure out, well, if we don't have any filters or alerts established, then why are all these symbols coming through? And the answer is this. Obviously right now, since the market is still open and will be for another 30 minutes, Trade Ideas, the engine of Trade Ideas, right now there's 20,000 plus users connected to our servers. Every user has so many different requirements and so many things that they're asking for us, and we are delivering that information to them. So when you have a blank window and you only have the heartbeat installed, the reason all these symbols are coming through is that basically you're seeing the Trade Ideas information stream running full bore or wide open. So in other words, all of these symbols coming through are being delivered to specific clients all over the world, but you and I just don't know why. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we're going to start to create our own filter set. So, and where this is all leading is to this effect. Alerts and filters. Filters within the Trade Ideas environment, anything under Windows specific filters, anything that has a purple or a blue color is a filter. All right. Anything in the alert list with a white background obviously is an alert. Now, what are the differences between filters and alerts and how they work by themselves or in conjunction with one another? Okay, so for example, let's say we're just beginning to build an alert. So we're going to install some very basic filters like minimum, maximum price. So let's just say that we don't want to see any stocks under $5 and we don't want to see any stocks over 100. So anything between 5 and 100. All right, simple enough. Now we're going to scroll on down to some of the more traditional volume indicators. A lot of people like to dictate, hey, I only want to see stocks that trade a couple 100,000 shares a day, 1 million shares a day. Everybody has their own preferences. So what we're going to do here is simply install a requirement of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Average daily volume in the past 10 days has to at least be 1 million or greater. Okay, we're not going to put any max on it. We're going to click on the Exchange tab. So the Exchanges tab just gives you the list of all of the markets that we cover, all the exchanges that we cover. So for this specific instance, I'm just going to select New York and NASDAQ.
Okay.
Symbol list, we're going to come back to symbol list. Well, I'll tell you what, let's go ahead and cover it now since we're on it. By default, when we click on symbol list, you're always going to see all symbols checked. And what all symbols checked is indicating is that anytime the event that we're crafting out here presents itself, we want to know the stock that's exhibiting that event. All right, and it will do that for, anytime any stock exhibits that event, it's going to give us the symbol, as long as it's in the New York or the NASDAQ, obviously. All right, so we're going to leave this specific instance on all symbols, but these other settings here, for example, a lot of people, well, not a lot of people, but there's a select group or a select portion of the day trading community that likes to work from customized lists. They don't want to scan the whole market. They just have a group of 100 stocks, and they want to know when those 100 stocks are doing specific things. So we give traders the ability within Trade Ideas to create customized lists. Once they create those customized lists and input the stocks that they want to be in that list, those lists will then show up in this area here, so that it makes it real easy for a guy to go, you know what, I only want to point this window to this list, the NASDAQ 100. So all you would need to do is say only the following list, NASDAQ 100, and then this window is only going to look at the NASDAQ 100. Come back into the symbol list tab, and let's say I hate the NASDAQ 100. I never have success when I try to trade it. I can easily exclude. So now by using the exclude feature, the system will scan the entire market, but it will omit any of the stocks in this list.
Well, how do you get those symbol lists in the symbol list area?
That's a good question, and it's really easy. What we would do is we would find the console box here, select Tools, and then select the symbol list. And within this little mechanism here, this allows you to create the list and then populate it. So for example, let's create the list and we'll just call it Super. Hit the button. Now you can see the list Super has been created, but it's currently empty. And now to put the list of stock, to put all the symbols within the list, all we would do is click Edit List, and we can manually input these symbols if we'd like to, or we can cut and paste from any spreadsheet or any other source that you can copy from. You could paste 1,000 stocks in here at the same time if you had the list. So whichever way the user wants to do it, manually or copy and pasting, simply put their stocks in here and then click OK. And now you can see we've got free stocks in here.
So it can hold as many stocks.
Yeah, we've had users put thousands of stocks in there and no problems.
Okay.
Okay, so now that we've created and populated a list, when we come back in to symbol list, let's see, there's our list right there, Super. So if we only wanted to point the window to Super, easy enough. Now the window will only look at that list of stocks.
Okay.
So I'll just come back in here and put this back on all symbols. We've already went over window name, not a lot of rocket science going on over there. Exchange is pretty straightforward too. And now we'll just spend some more time in the filters and the alerts. So we've installed that simple filter set. So now when we right click and come back into configure, now we can see our filters here that we've installed. Stocks between $5 and $100, and do average daily